Psychology reveals the traits women find most sexually attractive in men. There's a reason women can't always explain what they find physically attractive about a man. A lot of it isn't conscious. It's registered before a thought even forms. Psychology and attraction research have actually mapped a lot of this, the specific physical traits that trigger desire at a biological level. Some of these you'll already know. Others will reframe things you thought you understood. Here are 15 physical traits women find most sexually attractive, and why the science says they work. 1. The V-shape isn't about size. It's about the ratio. The V-shaped torso, wide shoulders tapering to a narrow waist, is one of the most consistently rated physical features in male attraction research. But here's what most people miss. It's not about being big. It's about proportional contrast. A leaner man with a genuine shoulder-to-waist ratio will outperform a much larger man without it, almost every time. Women aren't consciously calculating this. They're responding to what the ratio signals. Testosterone exposure, low cortisol, physical capability. You don't need to be huge, you need the shape. 2. Height matters less than the space he creates around himself. Studies show women prefer taller men, but the threshold is lower than most men assume. The real signal isn't inches. It's how a man occupies a room. A man who stands comfortably upright, doesn't shrink in crowds, and doesn't adjust his posture based on who walks in, reads as physically larger than he is. Height gives you the baseline. Presence multiplies it. A shorter man who fully owns his physical space will consistently outperform a taller man who collapses inward. This next one surprises almost everyone. 3. Forearms do more work than any other muscle group. Ask women which part of a man's body they notice first, and forearms come up more than almost any other answer. Not biceps, not chest. Forearms. Part of it is simple exposure. They're almost always visible. But the bigger part is psychological. Defined forearms signal physical capability, manual competence, and real-world use of the body. A man who trains, works with his hands, or simply has lean and functional arms communicates something no bicep hidden under a sleeve ever can. Roll the sleeves up. It really is that simple. 4. A strong jaw signals something specific about testosterone exposure. Jawline definition is one of the most studied features in male attractiveness research, and women rate it highly for reasons beyond aesthetics alone. A defined jaw, particularly the mandible and chin, develops in direct response to testosterone during puberty and early adulthood. It's one of the clearest visible markers of hormonal health on the face. You can't change the bone structure you were born with, but body fat percentage dramatically affects how much of it shows. Getting lean is often the most direct route to a stronger-looking jaw. 5. The way fat distributes on a man's body changes everything. Where a man carries his weight matters more than how much he carries. Fat stored centrally, particularly around the abdomen, is rated as the most attraction-reducing distribution in study after study. The same man carrying the same total body fat, but distributed more evenly across his frame, reads as significantly more attractive than one who carries it in the midsection. This comes down to cortisol and insulin sensitivity, 2 hormonal markers women are reading without knowing it. Where it sits tells a biological story that the number on the scale doesn't. 6. Hands that look like they've actually done something. Soft, uncalloused, perfectly manicured hands register as less attractive to most women in attraction studies, not because grooming is bad, but because hands that show physical use signal real-world capability. Women are drawn to evidence of a man who does things with his body. That doesn't mean dirty or neglected. It means functional. Broad, slightly roughened, well-proportioned hands with clean nails score higher than either extreme. It's one of the most consistently noticed physical features during early assessment, and one of the least talked about. Quick pause. If you're not just watching this out of curiosity but actually working on your physical presence, drop built in the comments. Let's see who's not just scrolling, but evolving. 7. The specific kind of chest women describe when asked in studies. When women in research settings are asked to describe an attractive male chest, they don't say big, they say defined. There's a meaningful difference. A heavily developed chest without visible muscle separation registers differently than a leaner, defined chest with clear structure. Women are responding to visual clarity, the physical evidence of low body fat and muscle development working together. Mass without definition reads as effort without visible result. Definition without mass still scores well. Size alone, consistently, and across every study, does not. Pay close attention to this next one. 8. A physically fit man who moves badly loses most of his advantage. You can have an exceptional physique and destroy most of its attraction value the moment you move badly. Stiff, Effortful, self-conscious movement signals disconnection from your own body, and women register this faster than almost any other physical cue. A man with an average build who moves fluidly, economically, and without visible tension reads as more physically capable than a larger man who looks uncomfortable in his own frame. The body is the advertisement. How you carry it is the headline, and most men are running a terrible one. 9. Skin that looks maintained without looking groomed. Clear, even, healthy-looking skin is rated as one of the top physical markers of male attractiveness across cultures and age groups. But the specific quality women respond to isn't polished. It's vital. There's a real difference between skin that looks cared for and skin that looks worked on. Sun exposure, hydration, and sleep quality all show in ways cosmetics can't replicate. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're reading for health. Dull, gray, or rough skin from poor sleep and chronic dehydration signals it clearly, whether you notice it or not. 10. Eye color matters far less than eye shape and brow structure. Surveys consistently show women have eye color preferences, but when isolated in actual attraction research, color ranks surprisingly low. What matters more is eye shape, limbal ring contrast, the dark ring around the iris, and brow structure. Heavy, well-defined brows over deep-set eyes is the most consistently rated attractive combination across studies. It's about shadow and structure, not pigment. Lighter eyes can read as very attractive with the right contrast. Dark eyes with a strong limbal ring score highest across the board. Color is noise. Structure is the signal. If this feels useful right now, drop a like. And if you know you'll want more of this without having to search for it, subscribe and turn on notifications so it just lands in your feed. 11. The voice drop that happens when a man relaxes completely. Here's one that goes deeper than most people expect. Women aren't just responding to a deep voice. They're responding to a relaxed one. When a man is genuinely at ease, his voice drops in pitch, slows slightly, and loses the tension that comes from projecting or performing. That natural, unhurried register reads as authority without effort. Men who speak from the chest rather than the throat, and who don't rush their own sentences, consistently rate higher in voice-based attraction studies. It's one of the most powerful physical signals, and one of the most trainable. 12. Body hair in exactly the right distribution. Research on male body hair shows no universal preference for completely bare or heavily covered, but strong preferences emerge around distribution. Moderate, well-distributed chest hair scores well. Excessive back or shoulder hair scores lowest across almost every demographic. The stomach trail scores consistently high. Pattern matters more than volume. Women aren't responding to removal or excess. They're reading a distribution that signals healthy androgen levels without tipping into either extreme. Knowing where yours sits is considerably more useful than defaulting to either approach. 13. The weight behind a man's walk that has nothing to do with size. There's a specific quality to the way attractive men walk that shows up consistently in Gait research. It's not swagger, it's weight. A settled, low center of gravity movement that reads as grounded and unhurried. Men who walk with visible effort, bounce, or upper body tension score lower regardless of physique. The most attractive male gait is economical. Each step lands with intention. Hips and shoulders move in fluid opposition. It's entirely trainable, which means most men are leaving significant attraction points on the floor every single time they cross a room. 14. A man's smell when his hormones are actually balanced. Olfactory attraction is one of the most well-documented areas in mate selection research. Women can detect testosterone to cortisol ratios through natural scent. Specifically, a man with high testosterone and low chronic stress produces a scent profile women consistently rate as more attractive, even in blind tests. This isn't about cologne. Cologne can layer over it but can't replace it. Sleep, diet, stress levels, and hormonal health all feed directly into natural scent. The most attractive smell a man can have isn't purchased. It's produced by a body that's actually functioning well. 15. The moment his shirt fits like it was made for his body. Fit is one of the highest leverage physical upgrades available to any man at any size. Research on attractiveness and clothing consistently shows that well-fitted clothing increases perceived physical attractiveness more than quality, brand, or style combined. A shirt that traces the shoulder line cleanly, sits correctly across the chest, and doesn't pull or sag around the midsection signals physical investment without visible effort. Women notice this immediately. It's not about fashion. It's about the signal that this man is aware of his body and chooses to present it deliberately. For more advice, subscribe.